Hi, this is Lab 3 for data structure. Let's dive to the first question. Question 1. Provided an interface with java.command. You can read the comments so that you will know how to implement them. This is a class that you will need to implement the interface. Set default value to 25. Alright? First, I have a problem. Yes, because of this union. Let me comment it up first. This will be our second question. Comment this out. Okay, done. We have a bag with a generic data type, generic array using private. Now you have default capacity, all capital uppercase, means that this is a static final variable. Remember to make it static final. It will be a constant. Number of entry, int. First, we will need constructor to construct the class. These are the methods that needed in your UML. But actually, in UML, you will need to include all the methods for a class, including constructor. Alright, after some searching, I found that it is depending on you whether you want to have a constructor. First, we will need constructor. Here I have two constructor. One is empty constructor, another is constructor with capacity wanted, because this is just a default capacity. But if the user want a specific capacity array back, let him do so. New object array, then cast it, assign it to back variable. First, get current size. Just return number of entry. For instant variable, when the object initialized, if you didn't specify the value, like maybe 4 and so on, it will automatically initialize it as 0, meaning that if you do nothing, it will assign it to 0, just a default value. Is full, return the whether it's equal to the length of array or the size of back. Is empty, check if it is 0. Add a new entry, passing the data, your object or the data with this data type when you initialize the whole class. If it is full, return false. If not or else, assign it to new entry. Since the number entry at first is 0, then back it will become, it will have the same effect as this. Back 0. Imagine that we just start adding entry, new entry, then you have number of entries plus plus. Actually, I should change this to number of entry. This one line equal to this two line. First, you assign the 0, the back will accept the 0, then get the new entry. Make sure you know what is the difference of this and this. If it is at the back or at the front. If at the front, it will pass to the needed. It will return the value first, then plus the variable itself. If the plus is at front, then you plus the variable first, then return it. So this is very important. If you reverse it, the result will be totally different. Next, remove. This remove is a bit special because we would like to make it centralized how the method remove it. So we have a remove entry method by giving index, because as you see, the remove method remove one's unspecified entry from this bag if possible. Either the remove entry if the removal was successful, or now. What is this? Never mind. Over here we will remove the last element. Next, remove with an entry. Then we will check whether we have that entry. Remove it. If yes, return true. If we don't have, false. If we can't remove, false. After that, we will need remove entry because we would like to know the index of element, then remove it. Providing an index. First, we have a variable pointing to null to check if it is empty. If not, and the given index larger than 0, then we remove it. Remove the back. I think I saw a bug here. If the given index is larger, we will have trouble. Let's say, what if I change this to n given index smaller than back dot length gth. I think this should be the correct code. We should try this afterwards. If it succeeds, condition true, the result we will get back given index, which is the entry we would like to remove. Then we have one less entry, and we have an array with the middle being removed. For example, you have maybe 3. You want to remove this index 1, then you remove it, it will turn into something now, but we don't want. We would like to reduce the number of entry into 2 so that it's now pointing to this, but then we assign it to the given index. So meaning we will have something like this right now. This is both the same thing. If I draw something out, okay, this is both the same thing. The memory address is the same. After that, we will make it null because we don't want to generate duplicate element. We just want to assign it over here. O Z, then this will be empty. This is O Z. Maybe this is O T Z. Right? Remove entry method. Then we can use it in both remove. For the first remove, just remove the last element. Make sure you minus it because the number of entry O will always point to the first NP element. As I said just now, sorry, I think I don't. First you have NP. Let me erase this. erase them. First you have number equal to 0. After that, you add one element. Initially, before you add it, the pointing is pointing to 0. Number of entry is 0. Then you add it. Over here. Then you add it. After adding pointing to new entry, you plus the number of entry. So this will no longer point to 0. It will now become 1. Number of entry equal to 1. But now, you remove it. When you want to remove it, you need to minus 1 because you want the pointer pointing to the element itself. So you minus 1. Let's say we add one element, then we remove it. Pointing back, then you remove the entry using remove entry. Okay, after that, remove with an entry. Over here, you have one entry, so get the index of entry, then you know which one to remove. We will need to have another method, get index of, so that we can get index using a for loop from first to last. If they are equal, then break the for loop, return where. Alright, if we can't find the entry, then just return -1. Normally, programmer or library will return -1 if they can't find the element. After that, get frequency of. Sorry, let me continue. Remove, get index, then remove it. Since you want to check whether you remove successfully, if the result is null, so the entry will not be equal to result. If it is an entry, this will return true, meaning success. The next method will be clear. I have my clear method here. Just check if it is empty, keep remove the last until it become empty. Get frequency of. Here you go. You have an entry. Again, look from the first to last. If they are the same, plus the counter. At last, return the counter. Another method will be contain to check whether the entry is inside this array back. For contain, again, you loop through it. If something equal, just return true. If you loop until the end, you can't find it, return false. The last method, do array. Retrieve all entry in this bag, then return a newly allocated array. When you call this method, initialize a new array with the number of entry, then from first to last assign it to the result. At the end, return the array. This is the end of question 1. Let's proceed to question 2. If you would like to see the command given in answer scheme, make sure you take a look. This is provided. This is second, third, and fourth question. These are the command given. Command for the method. Command. Make sure you have sufficient comments so that people can utilize your library or service. Command. Now, here come our next question. Union. Add a method union to the interface that return a new back. Receiving the call to the methods and the back of the argument. You have two back, then union them together, return it. Include sufficient comment. Note that the union might contain duplicate item. For example, if object S occur 5 times. So here is an example for you. Now let's implement it. Inside the interface, I have a back interface abstract method. Since this is an interface, there's no point you can put something like array back. No. Over here, you need to implement it. I'm trying to make it array back, as you can see, so that I can comment this line. But after testing, I found that I can't because the implementation already specified, the interface already specified that I will need to implement it, meaning the signature of the method and the return type must be the same so that I can override the method. Over here I have different return type and different signature argument. Let's copy this and pass this, and then other back. Over here I have a method. First I get a size, get current size of both back. Then I initialize an array back pointing to union back, which I will return later. For another back, I will need to cast it because I have a interface type back. I cast it down. I think down and up. Cast up and down. Upcasting or downcasting. Upcast, downcast. So I'm downcasting the object right now because interface is a larger scope. Then you have specific class implement it. Maybe you have another class implement the same interface. So I downcast this object into array back, then have the index. First index equal to 0. I add 1 by 1 into the union back. Then I add another back 1 by 1 into the union back. At last, return the union back. This is how we implement the union method. Alright, here is the question 3. Intersection. After union, intersection. Add a method intersection to the interface. Return a new back. Include sufficient comment. Sure. Note that the intersection of two back might contain duplicate item. If object X occur 5 times in one back and twice in another, intersection of this back contain X twice. Now we have one example. Object ABC, object BBDE, and then only contain the back common item only B. ABC, BBDE. Because A only exists here, we have 1B, so only we have 1B. C only here, E only here, D only here. Alright, if B has occurred twice, if B had occurred in bag 1 twice, the common item would have contained 2 occurrences of B. Since bag 2 also contained 2 occurrences of B, note that intersection does not affect the content. Implement the intersection method. Alright. When we get to the method, this is the comment. So this is the intersection. Quite long. Let me copy it. Oops. What happened? Okay, I copied it. So format it. Intersection. Not ended yet. Oops. Item. I need to move it up. Yes. The constructor for, let me see, intersection. First, we have intersection. Before that, we will need to add the interface. Let me guess, public back interface T intersect back interface another back. Okay, intersection. Okay, I have one for loop over here with a very weird code indentation. I think I like. Never mind. Let's look back to the code. Intersection. We have intersection back, which we will return later on. Another back. Again, we cast it. Copy of another back. Array back. We generate a copy. Index equal to 0. Index less than another back. This copy the second back because we don't want it to be affected. The content of the back, we don't want it to be affected after we return this intersection. Then we add it one by one. Add this. Okay. After that, add to intersection back each time in this back that match an item. One by one. We check whether the copy of another back contain the current this object, the back. If it contain the object, then we add it into the intersection back. Once meshed, remove it from the second back. Let me think. Alright, I'm back. This is duplication of copy of another back. The intention is to let us remove the element inside the copy because we may have duplicate in both back. Let me imagine a situation for you. If you have two back, I think I should draw it better. Let me. Okay. 1 2 3 back A and back B, you have element 1 2 3 1. Maybe you have another one here. Then you try to intersect them. If you didn't remove the element inside B, you'll get 2, because in our code we are comparing them. If the copy contain the element of A, in the first case contain, yes, so we add 1 into the intersection back with 1. After that, if you didn't remove it, we have another one in A, then it will be another match. Then you have something wrong in your intersection back. So to prevent this condition, you need to have another copy of another back to help you to assist in this operation, remove it, because you don't want to really remove the entry in another back, because as the question state, we shouldn't affect the content in back 1 and back 2. Back to this code, from first index to the last, you compare the copy, basically is another bag, whether it contains the things inside this bag. If yes, add it into the intersection bag, then remove it. You can exchange the position of these two bags. It will work as well. Just change it to something like copy of another bag dot get current size, then bag dot contain copy of another bag, bracket index, square bracket index, because you just need to make sure that the index is within the bound of the bag. If you're using this object, then this object will access the index, or else reverse. Lastly, return the intersection. Now move on to question 4. Question 4, we'll add a method difference to return the difference. We will later on see what does it mean, return the difference. But here is an example, ABC, back to content BBDE. If we are looking for back 1 difference back 2, the result will be AC. Back 1 difference A2, back 2 difference back 1, result will be BDE. What's the difference? ABC different BBDE, get A and C. Something like you use this back to minus the intersection between these two back. I guess so. Let's justify our hypothesis. Back 2 difference back 1. BBDE intersection is another B, so minus 1B, you'll get BDE. Yes, I think we are correct. So how should we write the code? First, add it into the interface. Let me get the code. Over here we will have this. Make sure to write sufficient comment. Difference. Then copy this as well. Alright. The parameter, the return type. Then you can proceed. In difference, you will need the method. This one we should add it over here. Comment it. Sorry, format it. In this different, the same signature, name and return type back interface. See, make a difference back. have another back, cast it, down cast it, have index. Over here, we are adding the back of this object to different back. Index from 0 to the last element of another back, because what we have inside the difference back is this object. The object calling this method, I will call it this object. This object, this back, we will need to minus whatever collide or intersect with another back. So other back, if it is inside this object, so we use contain, different back contain other back, the index. If there's one, remove that which inside the difference back. At the end, we make sure every object inside other back will not be in the difference back. Then return it. Now test program array demo array back demo.java to test the method add get current size and to array, as well as union insertion difference. Initially, main method create empty back using the default constructor. Since capacity back is 25, the array should not get full if you add fewer than 25. Okay, get it? Thus, add should return true after each of these. The test program descriptive output will indicate that the tested methods are correct. Here are the steps. Create a private static method named test_add to test the add of array back. This is the code. Create a private static method. Maybe I should start with this first. Test_add. Test_add. We will need another method. Test_add with this syntax. Is it the same? Yes. We have a back, then these are the content. We will add one by one into the back. Add, then print. This is just for displaying purpose. Okay, simple one. After that, create a private static method named displayBack to test the method get current size and to array. Display all the entry of the back. This is the code. Display back. Private method, display every content inside it. Get a size, then print them one by one. Calling to array. After calling to array, then you print them one by one. C. In the main method, create two empty array back. Sure. Then filling an initially empty back one using the method test_add. So you just pass these two array using the test_add method into the test_add method. After that, display. Okay, maybe I should have this. Display both test the method union using the new back name back3. Combine the content of back1 and back2. Display the content. Test the method intersection again with back4. Display them using back1 and back2 again. Difference using back5. Create a new back of object that were left in after removing those that occur in back2. Which means back1 dot difference back2. Display the content. Sure. So this is an example. Now we have both method done. First, array back. Fill them in. Initialize this to array. Test add them. Display. Test add display back 2. So now until this step. After that, back 3. Union both of them together. Back 3. Display back 3. Back 4. Intersect them. Display back 4. Very simple. When you have the whole code, library, maybe you can basically call everything by just 1 or 2 lines when you have your implementation done. How beautiful it is. Display the back, then difference display. Very simple, because you have done your implementation well. So now hopefully we can run it. Run the code. Yeah, sure. Let's see if our output is the same. Adding the back contains 6 string A B A C A. Back 2 adding A B A C B C D. Okay, let's follow through. A B A C B C D A B A C B C D. Test the method of union. A B A C A B A C A B A C B C D A B A C B C D A B C A B C A A. Correct. Alright, this is the end of lab 5. I will let you look into any comment if you want. Comment. Alright. Thank you everyone. If you would like to suggest me to improve the quality of video and so on, please do so by commenting or send an email to me. Both work. If you have any question, you can ask me using email or WhatsApp. And if you want, you can ask in our next lab as well. Thank you everyone. Hope you're doing well in your lab,